Both Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy VII had this kind of impact. Final Fantasy VII introduced the world, specifically the West, to the JRPG in a massive way, more than any game from its genre before. Ocarina of Time defined the adventure game going forward in 3D space and cast a shadow over its sequels that still looms in some very real ways today. These games made Link and Cloud household names. There's no denying that Prime made a big splash when it came out and put Samus into the public consciousness greater than ever before. Prime sold 2.8 million copies on the GameCube. That makes it the second best-selling Metroid release ever, only recently eclipsed by Metroid Dread. But not by much, and Prime selling 2.8 on the GameCube is different than Dread selling 3 million copies on the Switch. Why? The GameCube sold very poorly compared to other game consoles of its time. Just 21 million units worldwide. That's compared to the PlayStation 2, the big dog at the time, selling 160 million. The Switch has moved over the 140 million units mark, which will eventually, if Nintendo keeps making them for the near foreseeable future, means that it probably will outsell the PlayStation 2. Let's crunch some numbers, try to get down to brass tacks. That means that 13% of GameCube owners bought a copy of Metroid Prime. Prime was the sixth best-selling GameCube game on the console. The sixth best-selling game on the PlayStation 2 was Final Fantasy X, which sold 8.8 million copies. That means only 6% of PS2 owners bought Final Fantasy X. Now that's a little skewed by the fact that the PS2 had 4,000 games released on it over its lifetime compared to the GameCube, which had between 650 and 700. But suddenly, Dread's numbers are put into real perspective. Based on these numbers, only 2% of Switch owners also bought Metroid Dread. In comparative sales, Metroid Dread barely cracked the top 50 games on the Switch so far. More people have bought Among Us on the Switch than Dread. Now, I'm not dogging Dread. Of the two, I prefer it to Prime. All I'm trying to do is point out that as far as impact on player base, Prime was a killer app for the GameCube. And there were lots of people who bought the GameCube, like my cousin, just to play Prime.